Happy Monday. Go in here and make sure that everything's working. People can hear us over on X. Good morning, everyone. Happy Monday. Okay. Go in here and make sure. Looks like people can hear us over there. Throw a little GM for good morning in the chat. Looks like it's working. Well, happy Monday. Looking at the Bitcoin chart, we're better off really than we were even last week, and we held pretty good through the weekend. Though we did have some crazy manipulation, market maker manipulation. To be honest with you, Saturday morning and Sunday morning. But if you weren't in leverage or you weren't paying attention, you wouldn't have noticed it. There were some crazy wicks. They happened early, and they happened in like inside of like a 5-10 minute candle. So, and then they came right back. But hundreds of millions of longs and short whatever was liquidated. So there was some crazy manipulation. The most I've seen in a while, but most people didn't even notice it if you weren't really paying attention. Hey, Mr. Heine, the founder, the dev of the Heine community. I see Scott there as well. Yeah, looking like a good week. You know, I mean, the title, I don't know if you saw the title or not, but the title is, it looks like Scott Bessent's going to tap into $1 trillion Treasury reserve, pumping the market. I guess he's going to talk about it. Obviously, his whole thing started with him doubling the daily buybacks on the long-term bonds from 2 to 4 million. Hey, Steph, good morning. Good morning. Yeah, all my friends from X coming at me over there on YouTube. Appreciate it. Helps out a lot. But yeah, I think they figured that $4 billion a day isn't enough. So now they're talking about tapping into that $1 trillion reserve they have, pulling out all the stops. So we'll see. I definitely didn't know if we'd be able to hold. I mean, I think a few coins have broken out into a more bullish. I think Bitcoin, I think we're still a little below what most people would consider a bullish trend. You know, maybe Steph can, if Steph's able to join us, he's usually our TA guy, official TA guy for the Heine community, as well as Opening Bell Crypto, but or not Opening Bell Crypto, but GM Bitcoin morning show. So I don't know. I'm thinking around the 81, 82, close above that. Then I think we're confirmed in a bull trend, but it's kind of what I'm hearing. I don't know. I haven't looked at the exact numbers, but we're not quite. But look, this morning we got to 79,225. So very nice. But overall, I think if a few things happen, I think if we can get the Clarity Act passed, a lot of talk about that now. I think if that passes, we're going to. I think we're done with the bear market, but I don't know if that's going to pass or not. Okay, there we go, Steph. Yeah, so Steph said 83,100 is a new higher high. So if we can get above that 83,100 and close above it on the weekly close on Sunday, then I think potentially we're confirmed out of the bear trend and into a bull trend. So we're getting close. We'll see. I mean, obviously the ramifications of them just being able to throw this much money could do a lot of good things. I've got an article about it we'll look at. But first, let's look back at the TradFi market as well. Oil down. I was happy to see oil down almost 2%, 85.58. Oh, I guess another part of that speech today, Bessent, is I guess they say they're really going to put the screws to Iran from an economic point of view. So they seem to be willing to wait him out and hit him economically. So we'll see. Also, let's see what Strategy 9638 got some news there. But yeah, NASDAQ down 0.64, the Dow up 0.26, the S&P down 0.26. So kind of mixed there, but in crypto world, obviously over here, looking very good. Bitcoin, like I said, 78. Well, let's let this refresh here. Thanks to everyone who's joining me live here. Good to see everyone. Great show today. Scott, as usual, does those shows at 8:30 a.m. 7 days a week. So kind of nice to keep up. First kind of bite at the apple as far as getting news, what's happened there. But and just general talk about a lot of stuff. But 78,689. So officially up 1.5% for the day, 23.5 for the week. Ethereum was over 25. Looks like we got to 25.15 right now at 24.95.99. Up 1.6 for the day, 31.1 for the week. XRP at 150. Hey, Justin, GM, coming from X there. Good to see you. See a few people listening live on X. Could be a crazy week. Could be a good week. I mean, we're actually a little better off than where I thought we'd be. But yeah, XRP down 1.1% for the day, but up 49.8. The clear winner in the top 10 for sure. And Solana, 95.32. We just got up to night. We were over Friday night. We got over 100. I think 103, something like that. But then we had that liquidation wick all the way down to $90. And now we've been grinding back. But officially up 0.1 for the day, 25.9 for the week. But you look at some of these things, Pengu, a couple of these things are kind of breaking into more of a bullish trend, depending on how you read the charts. Pengu's one of those, up 10.2. I mean, I checked Tau. Tau seems like hasn't really run yet. Let's see how it's looking for the week. Oh, it's up 21% for the week. I guess I can't say it hasn't run at all. But anyway, looking good. Looking good. Let's see if we can hold it. Let's see what happens. Of course, we have that procedural vote scheduled for the 15th. But interesting. Cash Cat, total big pop today. Cash Cat, of course, the biggest meme so far on Robinhood chain, also on the main app. So it's not really just an indicator anymore of the chain. But look at that, 161 million, up 39.51. Got down there. Let's see. This is the 4-hour chart. I don't know. Got down there. Got down there quite a ways. Sub 100, right around 100. Had a nice little pop. Ansem as well. Not up as much percentage wise, but doing good. It's at 262. So got a little bit of a candle there. Let's see. Look at it on the 4-hour. Yeah, it's of course got really high the other day, 350. Oh, that's when he announced his launch pad, I think. But anyway, still holding solid. The Bitcoin bull, we've been kind of in a range between about low to mid nines to around 12, 13. We're sitting right now at 10-1. Yeah, Scott and I were talking this morning. Need some new, Jason's trying to get 21 whales that'll hold 21 or 1% of the supply, and looking for 50 VIPs that are going to hold like a million plus. So that'll help hold the line and stuff. That'll help cut the supply as we look for new things. Jason, going parabolic, he may start his new podcast this week with Scott Melker, the Wolf of Wall Street. Scott Melker's got 1 million followers on X and 195,000. They're going to call it like Washed Up Unks or something, talking about trenchers and different things. I think it's going to be great. Those two guys, super knowledgeable, both of them super entertaining. Looking forward to that. I think that'll help get TBB out there. But you see where we're at. We had the pump, we had the dump all the way down to 4.6, and now we're in this range. Just need to break out. A lot of community stuff, a lot of community spaces. Got fantasy football, got poker going on, got some pretty solid spaces. I talk about it, of course, on the GM Bitcoin Morning Show Monday through Friday, and then we've got at least 2 more spaces after that throughout the night. Not set though. But anyway, let's take a look at some of the news here. Yeah, some decent news out today. First, Sailor, of course, taking advantage. Sailor's, up well over $1 billion, maybe two or three in the profit, taking advantage. They went ahead and raised another $2 billion by selling Class A common stock, and they basically boosted their reserve to 5.1 billion. That's reserve they used to pay their STRC, and then they started a new reserve of 1.59 billion, which they might use to buy the Bitcoin dip or something like that. Pretty smart, and they also repurchased 1.36 million in STR stock. Hey, Coachmaster GM, another friend from X coming at me on YouTube, helping me out there since I don't have much of a following. Coachmaster, I know you're on the West Coast, so 6:45 a.m. for you, my brother. Glad you could join us, but big move. I mean, think about all the FUD, all the whatever, and he still owns 4% of the supply, but I think most people are calling this pretty disciplined. So now he's taking advantage of the pump. Now he has that 1.59 billion. He can use that. Yeah, I said smash the like button. Yeah, definitely. If you're listening, especially on YouTube, whatever. Yeah, smash that like button. Give me a follow if you're new here. We're here every Monday through Friday, catching you up on what's happening in the market. But yeah, that's nice. Now he has another 1.59 billion, because what happens is when you get those dips, based on the current parameters of what they're doing with the STRC and stuff, they weren't able to buy. They actually wound up selling about 350 million in Bitcoin on 3 different sells. Weren't able to buy for about 10, 11, 12 weeks. I don't know, 2.5, 3 months. So now they're doing some good stuff with this, and obviously they're probably a couple billion in profit now. And anyway, now they got 1.59 billion to buy that dip next time. So smart. They're getting better out there. So shout out to him. Now, meanwhile, kind of a mini version of strategy is our guy Vivek Ramaswamy. Oh no, that's the next slide. But this, I reported this over the weekend on my little TikTok updates. Brian Armstrong predicts the Clarity Act will get far more than 60 votes, calling it a strong bipartisan compromise. So interesting, right? I hope he's right, because I think if that happens, plus what's happened with the Treasury, I think we're done with the bull market. We could go back to all-time high quickly. Who knows? And here we are, Vivek, his company, publicly traded as well, Strive. They just bought over 1,100 Bitcoin. I think it was 1,110 Bitcoin, little over 80 million. Now they own over 21,000 Bitcoin. So doing what Sailor's doing on a little smaller scale, but I like it. I like it. Obviously, like I said, Sailor's problems were all over as soon as we got above his median buy price, average price, what he's been paying for his Bitcoin. So still holding the 840,000, around 4% of the supply. Standard & Chartered Bank becomes the first bank to distribute a regulated Hong Kong dollar stablecoin. I think everyone's going to try and have their own stablecoin. We saw that's made big progress over in Japan. Obviously, the U.S. will be one of the most sought after and can really help with dollar dominance for decades to come if we can get the legislation passed. But obviously, it's a full court press right now. And it is a very bipartisan issue, though. You have some Trump haters out there don't want to do anything to give him a win. So they got to get 60 votes. I don't know. I still think it's going to happen, but I don't know. Hard to say, man. Oh, I thought this was, this is Pomp. I thought this was, earlier I thought it was Scaramucci, but he said Scott Bessent is warming up the $1 trillion general account at the Treasury to do bond buybacks, and you are bearish. Couldn't be me. Think about that. Yeah, got another article that kind of lays some of the stuff out here, but yeah, that's a big. That's bold. I mean, that's what started this, and then crazy, obviously, short squeezes. But here we are. Well, that's Doc's coin. I have no idea what that is. No, Doc's launching a coin. I didn't on Robinhood too, I think, but didn't see anything about it. But my computer's a little slow today. Give me a break. I think this one that shows Circle minted $500 million on Solana today. It's usually a sign people are getting ready to buy. I'm going to get all these ones warming up here. See if that helps or makes it slower. I don't know. Well, anyway, I won't wait. I believe this one's just saying that Circle minted 500 million on Solana. Like I say, that's usually a good sign. Here's the one on Scott Bessent. So let's kind of go through this. Coin Bureau breaking. Scott Bessent to unleash 1 trillion war chest to rescue the U.S. bond market. This is 250x the Treasury's new $4 billion for a single long-term bond buyback operation. According to CNBC, the Treasury will tap its nearly 1 trillion Treasury general account to fund expanded bond buybacks. The move could lift bond prices, push long-term yields lower without requiring the Fed to intervene. This comes after Treasury bonds double buyback from $2 billion to at least $4 billion per operation. But the relief quickly faded and the 30-year yield returned to around 5.25%, showing that far more support may be needed. Drawing down Treasury cash might also inject major liquidity into markets, potentially benefiting stocks and crypto. The full 1 trillion has not been committed, but it represents Treasury's potential firepower. The bond market just learned how big Bessent's bazooka could be. Yeah, I may have to do it. You know, the funny thing, Scott said, you may have to use that CoinZoom Visa card for a new computer. Costco has great price on laptops. You know, it's funny. I bought this initially. I think I've told the story. CoinZoom came out about 3 cents. I bought a bunch and it ran to 80 cents after I'd been spending it a while and I'd earned some coins and I had like $800,000 and about 200,000 of that I used to pay for everything for 2 years, travel, everything. And one of those was this laptop and it was during COVID. So I had to buy, they didn't even have any brand new ones. So it was like a year or so old. So yeah, this computer probably needs to be done. But yeah, good time to buy it with Zoom token down, TBB down. Yeah, I problem is I usually get them from the Apple store and it's an hour away, closest one. So but yeah, I think I do need to be thinking about that. Definitely need to be thinking about that, but I don't know. Yeah, it probably just is my memory. I know this Restream I use to stream out the different platforms ties up a lot of memory for some reason. Germany now leads the EU in MiCA authorizations. They've got 79 licensed crypto asset providers over there. A lot of people aren't able to, Binance can't operate over there. Tether can't operate over there. So, fortunately, I think it's just about control. I'm not very bullish on what UK is doing with their crackdown on freedom of speech and just everything. I wouldn't care to be over there. Goldman's ETF positions for Solana are now 88.7 million across 6 funds. So, put that just to demonstrate that Goldman is stacking Solana. I've been bullish on Solana, but man, I'll tell you what, Ethereum's making its comeback too. I think partially due to the Robinhood chain and just overall network effect, right? But right now, those are the two to buy, I think. Let's check back on the general market here, see if it's changed, and then we'll look at Bitcoin again. But yeah, appreciate everyone joining me live on X and over on YouTube. I think it could be a good week. Let's refresh this and see. Question we don't know is, are we going to dip a little bit, or are we going to go up from here? That's we don't know. This Treasury injection, what the Fed does, and what happens with the Clarity Act, I think. We're just slightly over 2 weeks. It's coming on Tuesday the 15th, and we are the 24th. So let's call it 3 weeks from now, a little less than 3 weeks. Crude oil still down 1.78%. That's a good thing. That's a good thing. The NASDAQ getting worse, down 0.87. The Dow up 0.31. And the S&P down 0.31. That's funny. Mirror images of each other. And Bitcoin, let's pull up that Bitcoin chart. Still very, very nice. I think we dropped below 70. I think that big liquidation wick on Saturday morning, early, was down below 76, and here we're over 78. Hit 79. But yeah, looking decent still. Oh, what's this? It's not the one we want. XDC. You know what that is. Bitcoin. 78,379. So, down off the peak before the market opened. But still, 78,379. I'll take it. Let's see what further word we get about this Treasury buyback. Let's see. Let's just see what happens. Could be an interesting week. Could be volatile. But so far, I'll just say we're holding. I mean, honestly, doing better than I thought we would have if you had asked me Friday. And the low volume weekend, the manipulation was quick and brutal, but really only mattered if you were in. I know a lot of people were sitting on the sidelines because of the low liquidity, the high propensity to be manipulated. I say it every week. Be careful on the weekends, but a few $100 million liquidated, but it was in very, very strategic. If you weren't really paying attention, you didn't even see the dips because they popped right back. Unless you were in leverage, and then you got absolutely wrecked. I should say if you're in leverage and didn't know what you were doing, but I'll take it. I think it's going to be interesting. Also, there was, I think, an F1 race, not F1, but what do we have here? IndyCar in yesterday in Washington, D.C. That was kind of cool. But listen, let's see what happens this week. Feel free to join us over on hopefully if Steph's not working, he'll give us his honest TA. He does a lot of TA. He can give us some numbers to look at. Right now, we're just kind of seeing, don't forget, this time last week, we were wondering if we could hold the 200-week moving average, 73, 74. Now we're over, or 60, excuse me, 63, 64. Look at us. Crazy move, epic move. Let's see what happens. I think I know Bitcoin dominance. I didn't check it this morning, but I think it's over 60%. So some when we stabilize, that comes down. But if we see this, depending on what happens with this 1 trillion injection with the Clarity Act, maybe we're done, maybe we're not, maybe we dip down. Nobody knows. I would just say, I've been buying whenever I can. I don't worry too much. Like if I had a big influx today for my grid bots or something, I would buy. I don't care because I don't care even if someday it could go down more. I don't worry about it. I'm just DCAing. So I'm not worried about when Bitcoin goes to $1 million. You won't care if you bought it at 58 or 78, to be honest with you. But anyway, appreciate everyone joining me live. Like I say, join me right now over on the GM Bitcoin GM Bitcoin show. Man, can't keep track. Too many shows. But anyway, thanks for joining me live. This is the best way to get your condensed 20, 25 minute. And then over there, we talk for an hour. But you do get some more people weighing in. We do talk more BNB. Hey, Wisdom. GM, man, this Wisdom Prime dude makes the craziest videos. In fact, I'm going to probably show that video again today. The video he made for the Coin Zoom is just amazing. I don't know how, well, actually, I can't. I should have showed it here. But anyway, we got to jump over there. Wisdom, join me over on the show. Steph, everyone else. Justin, appreciate everyone. And have a great Monday. And hopefully it's going to be an epic week. So good is what I'll say. And like I say, join me on the GM show. Let's continue.